Hello everyone, my name is Siarhei, and this is introduction to my Hookathon project. The problem I'm aiming to solve here is aligning with Zemo Hookathon. My objective is to reduce impermanent loss. In a nutshell, there are two major risks for the LP's capital, divergence loss and impermanent loss. While divergence loss cause is obvious, it's LP's inventory being rebalanced, the impermanent loss root cause is not that transparent. It happens when arbitrageurs or EV bots perform value extraction in stale pricing pools and sell assets for higher price on other venues. Regardless of the fact it natively allows keep pools pricing up to date, it brings impermanent loss across LP's capital. To prevent this toxic order flow of arbitraging, I'm bringing in completely different workflow by means of hook and standalone protocol-like system. First of all, I define mechanism for considering pools stale. I utilize PIS on-chain price feeds as main source of truth, especially price and publish timestamp. The deviation from execution block timestamp and price in the pool bringing in extra fees, which hide pools from being discovered in routing and make them undesirable for any ordinary arbitrageurs. In order for my system to exist and operate, I introduced two new actors, SyncKeeper and FeedKeeper, with their incentives. FeedKeepers are providing oracles, updates, data on-chain, and are rewarded with percentage of fees from upcoming swaps. When one keeper overrides another with more relevant data, the rewards flow is reassigned. SyncKeepers perform an atomic arbitrage. They additionally have to provide external executor address and draw call data with allowances to perform full cycle arbitrage and donate percentage of profit back to pool according to the configuration. They also receive percentage of fees from future swaps. This is default FeedKeeper workflow. FeedKeepers quote Hermes API to acquire price update value, push it in the Keeper executor, correctness is validated in Oracle, and Keeper contribution got recorded. This is a SyncKeeper workflow. SyncKeepers quote externally for RFQs, confirm allowances, and provide sync intent to Keeper executor. Value extracted, to like arbitrage executed, percentage is donated back to the pool, Keeper got recorded for future fees reward. This is a Swapper workflow. Swap initiated hook is checking for last keeper's contribution, compares with pool state and Oracle, and determine where the last keeper is eligible for fees share. If the eligible percentage is routed to treasury, the rest is routed as LP's fees. I prepared two reports representing my system impact. Reports are showing funds flow from actors in default and Devia Hook pool. In report number 1, we can see smaller loss here compared to default pool. In report number 2, we can see increase. It means impermanent loss got reduced. I've made a conclusion there. There are pros and cons. The pros are hook and the system itself in overall approximation allows to decrease impermanent loss, and there are a list of parameters that was used. Stale price liquidity is protected from toxic overflow, and system concept maintains price feeds on chain heartbeat. The cons are the following. Pool config params have to be tuned, for example by terms of history data backtesting. System requires external audits to be delivered for real funds interaction. I think it's obvious, and system requires actors to perform sync. Thank you for your attention. Now I'll show you a little part of front-end demo for my system. Here we are. This is a little demo front-end. I want to show the impact I reached. I have to do a little pre-assumption here. I will update price feed on each swap to objectively evaluate impermanent loss reduction without influence of extra fees. So we see the pools, and now we perform two directional swaps in both pools, but we have to keep price in sync. Now we change the direction, but we're keeping price in sync. Okay, we see a little difference with extra fees because there is a kind of pending block evaluation when the deviation is pre-calculated. Now what we do, we may assume the price do a very sharp jump like to this price, and there is an arbitrage opportunity. We can see the performance for default arbitrager and the performance for sync keeper. There is like one more incentive, lower fees for sync in comparison to default pool. At this point we see that he's eligible for 5 blocks for accepting fees from upcoming swaps. At this point we perform for more bidirectional swaps, but maintaining the pricing. Now we change the direction. And one more swap. Now we can collect the report and see what's the difference here. We can see that the plain hook net profit after liquidity got removed after seed, it's 11. But for the hooked pool, it's 160. Wow, great difference here, isn't it? And we can see the whole breakdown here. What are the swaps fees? What the swap fees in hooked pool? But we see there is a SyncKeeper share and FeedKeeper share. We see that there is kind of extra 160. Impermanent loss got reduced by this value for this initial capital. And we can see this distribution, like what was the plain arbitrage profit, what was the sync arbitrage profit, what was the SyncKeeper fee share and FeedKeeper share, and what was the pool donation. So, as a result, I've got reduced the impermanent loss in the pool with the help of my hook and standalone protocol-like system. That's it. Thank you for watching.